fact, whatever at the beginning, end, whenever you want to throw it in your character intro. And I'll start with Val.
Hello everyone, my name is Valiant Dorian. I assume his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Otto Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure island to set you on. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of playing Stag, who uses she, they pronouns. And a fun fact about Stag is, if she were living here with us in the modern era, she would have a wilderness ASMR YouTube channel. That is what I think.
Wait, does she do the ASMR, or is it like those videos where they just record like 2 hours of the wilderness?
No, she is. I don't know if anyone is familiar with the queen, the goddess Lisa Chi, who does a lot of kind of like very relaxing videos to honestly kind of absurd amounts of labor when it comes to like homesteading. Stag would do that.
I love it.
Nice. I'll move up to Haley.
I'm Haley. I go by Haley Rosie on everything. I use they, she pronouns, and I'll be playing Baby today, who uses they, them pronouns. And my fun fact about Baby is that their favorite color is purple because they don't get to see it very often. So it's exciting when they do get to see it.
That's so lovely. I'm gonna move over to Pooja.
Oh, I'm Pooja. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm playing Grommen and a lot of other greenery, whose pronouns are they, she. And my fun fact about Grommen is actually something I thought of last week after session. And it is that Grommen is the, at minimum, 4th witch of the woods.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's why everyone assumes Grommen is just old.
Oh.
Because there's always witch, and they just assume it's that one.
Fair.
Not many people really know how old Grommen is. Stack's probably got the closest idea based on how long ago they met.
I'm gonna move down to Kit.
Hi, I'm Kit. I am they them. But not Nelly. Nelly is she her, and that's who I'm playing today. And my fun fact about her is that the entire campaign thus far, she has actually been wearing backup gloves. So she has 2 pairs. And the entire time she's been wearing her emergency pair.
That's a mystery why.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
I also use she, they pronouns. I forgot to say. I think I've forgotten to say every time, but I use those. All right. A little disclaimer before we start. Before we start playing, I would like to say that the world we will be telling our story in is an alternate universe of 1907 in the Appalachian Mountains, specifically in South Carolina. And we are coming at this from a place of love for the culture and the people of the area, but this is, of course, a fictional representation of this place, so please excuse our occasional inaccuracies for the sake of the story. And trigger warnings. This is a horror game. This session involves mentions of darkness, characters with compulsive behaviors, bugs, worms in places you wish they were not, claustrophobia, gore, uses of scalpels, exhaustion, general themes of horror and suspense, and death. Now, are we ready to get started?
Sure, Faye, sure. Sure, we're ready.
No.
We start, and there is a hand on your cheek and a kiss on your forehead, June. The wind chime twinkles on the porch with the summer breeze, and the creak of the floorboards follow your mama's footsteps as she comes to knock on your door. It's one of the rare days when your dad has gone on his duties without you, and on one of these days, what sort of things do you do with your mom when it's just the 2 of you?
We often either sit in the patio outside or indoors by the fire. She would sit and either brew some odd tea from wherever she had come from, open up a mat, this little intricately decorated piece of cloth, and pull cards. Strange illustrated cards with beautiful backing. And she would sometimes pull out a card, say its meaning for June to internalize. But most of the time, June just sneaks a peek at all the little pictures of all these people with their swords, cups, pentacles, and wands. And look at her mother's face.
You know your family is not necessarily a normal one by the townie standards. Your mama knows the smell of sickness on the air before anyone coughs, and often walks as long as she can manage without shoes, saying that she likes to talk with the path as long as it lends her a safe passage. This afternoon, she's pulling on her boots and lacing them up. She takes her deck of cards and places them in a sort of knit pouch that she has that she sometimes uses to collect herbs, but it looks like it's already full of several things. This card deck seems to be the last that she's putting in there. Junie,
Yeah?
I might not be back before dark. You know the drill. Don't open the door for anything with my voice. And I love you so much.
But where will you be when it's dark out?
I have to go on a trip, visit some friends.
Okay. And they know not to open their doors?
Yes. Their mamas
Okay.
taught them well.
Okay.
All right.
I'll
She
hold the
leaves a-
cabin.
Ooh. She leaves a kiss on your forehead and she turns away. As she turns away, every time you try and remember, there's nothing that sticks in your mind. You can't picture the shape of her face, the color of her hair. You remember it was in a braid, and that's about all. But she walks down the steps, and you remember the next morning. You remember coming to the front of the door and finding one card half stuck underneath the door.
June remembers. I think that's a half instinct in these memories to call out, to pull back, to ask for her mother to not leave. And I think every time she rushes to pick up the card and look at it.
Strength. The card you often picked, just on the first draw.
And Stag keeps that card with her all of the time in a little pocket right off of their belt, right next to the machete her mother had gifted her, made out of stag antlers.
You remember the first time you went to check on the tree alone, and you saw the half-covered, dirty, mud-scraped box tucked into the dirt. And you wonder constantly, what did your mother bargain this memory away from you for? But it's not then. It's now. And actually, I'd like to cover just a few things that happened last session as well. In the quiet mining town, events have been tumbling one after the other like rocks preceding an avalanche. On a cold day on the edge of winter, Grommen, Stag, and Baby went down to the mines and investigated this connection to the worms, where Grommen found a deeper understanding of the purpose of the bone tree, something of a shackle on a prisoner. a function to keep a dark and hungry thing in the mountains sleeping and sated. The bargain is more needed for the tree than the townspeople, and Grommen also learned that the tree was likely crafted by many witches of many paths. Nellie talked to her father about reconnecting with an importance to not dig in the direction of the bone tree, and he said he would try and take a second look, in the process trying to comfort her and getting some dirt on her dress, leaving her to soak and scrub it out with a pitcher of water in the moment. The next day, Stagg went to town after tracking footsteps from the bone tree and found Rosemary Duncan, and learned that she traded her sense of taste to feed her family after her father died, and she hadn't been feeling any pull towards the mines, but asked if she'd known anyone to be acting strangely, mentioned that no one had really seen Dr. Carter for several days. Baby, Nellie, and Stagg all converged on Dr. Carter's house and found the doctor in extreme distress and ranting about hearing something singing to her in the mines and promising things, feeling like she's a worm on a hook. And Dr. Carter picked up a scalpel, and Nellie drew her focus away from that. Carter put her hand on Nellie's face as Stagg and Baby got the scalpel out of her hand, and they managed to lead her to Grommen's house and learned that Carter had 2 of these shadowy worms in her body, one wrapped around her thigh and one in her forearm. And as Grommen managed to remove one, the one curled around her arm, and put it in the empty jug waiting, they have a moment of realization that the worms have not shown any interest in those who have not made a bargain with the bone tree, exactly as the worm struggles against the glass of the bottle, trying to get to Nellie. And here we sit in this moment as Grommen has this realization. What does Grommen do?
Grommen, I think we all see the worm wriggle towards Nellie. And Grommen is kind of busy at the moment, but looks over to Nellie and just says, "Not you do."
What?
It's coming to you. For a reason.
Sorry, I don't think I'm following.
You made a deal.
Oh.
And it's attracted to you now. I don't know why Dr. Carter's getting the worst of it and you're not, but put it all together.
June snaps out of her reverie and looks over to Nellie, and Stagg speaks. They look at them once over, actually pan their gaze over to the jar where the worm sits and sees it squirming towards Nellie and sighs loudly before fixing you, Nellie, with a look. What is it? Concern? The kind of concern that feels bittersweet. There's clearly a care, but there's something else. Sadness, grief. At you, or someone past you? When did you make this deal?
So no hope in convincing you that perhaps I didn't. Couple of
My
days
dear
ago.
Nellie, if I were to disapprove or judge people for making deals with the tree, I'd have to not speak to 3/4 of this town. Your business is your own. Unfortunately, your business may have spilt over to our concern. I am less concerned about your bargain than the fact you chose to hide important information with all of this happening around us.
I didn't know. I thought that it might be separate. I didn't realize that it was a. We need to focus on getting the doctors, the other worm out. Maybe we do that.
The doctor's a lot more cognizant now after a few minutes without the worm, and there's talking still happening, and she's a little like maybe buzzed might be the right word from this strong kombucha that was in this jug. um, and
Thing's been brewing for so long.
yeah. um she's shaking a little bit, and I think baby might be like loosely holding her while you extracted this worm from her arm. And she sits and she is sort of rubbing her leg where you know where the other worm is. She goes, I can think a little straighter now. The song is still there. It's not as loud anymore. I can think better. Okay. This I didn't. So this is from the bargains?
Stag looks over towards Grommen and says, "It's at the very least related. We're trying to discern the origin points ourselves."
Okay. Well, I'd say I have a pretty good idea. This didn't happen until that fancy man visited me.
No.
The railroad man, the one in the sharp
Yeah.
suit. Yeah,
Yeah, I met him.
I was sort of disoriented a few days. Just I made a bargain. I gave up rest. I gave up sleep for knowledge. I was hoping to be a better doctor for the town. Could have worked out better. But he came to the door, and it's... Maybe I should have been more specific with the tree. I asked for knowledge, but it's knowledge of the human body. He shook my hand. He's not human.
I'm sorry, what?
Interesting.
This man is like hunger I've never known. He's... I
Are you
think
saying is he from the mines themselves, or is he something else?
he might be something of the... like a cousin of the mines. Like, same family, same roots. I think they might be family of each other. I think he might be here to help that thing out how he can. I just know that he hooked himself into me, and that started pulling me towards the mines. It was so enticing. It was smelling a food after not eating for a day. It was a lot. And it's still there, but I'm I'm more myself than I was before. I'd say, Nellie, she looks up at you, still sweaty, hair falling out of her bun. I'd say, be careful. I know you're a careful girl, but if you made a bargain, you're vulnerable to this.
Has the railway man come to visit you, Nelly?
Think so.
Good. Good.
I
Let's keep it
saw
that way.
him- I saw
Mhm.
him leaving when he was here the other day, but other than that, when I looked at him, he had darkness in his eyes. And I don't mean just a metaphorical darkness, I mean the darkness.
Like the kind of stuff you see in the cave.
And your friend, what's his name? Leo.
Leo, yeah.
You know, the railway man has come to visit.
I think he was talking about it that morning, or at least had visited a lot of our homes in the area recently. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
He came by here. I did not open the door.
Mhm.
Now I can't decide if that was a good thing or a bad thing.
I would say good.
Well, I might have recognized him for what he was if I had opened the door.
You might have also brought a stranger into your home.
Oh, I wouldn't let him
Elder.
in. But he is convinced that he can talk me into giving up here for their railroad. Faye, Grumman is wondering, I don't know how much Grumman knows about railroads, but could a rail line through here be a means of trying to spread the reach of whatever is down there
Definitely.
to transport it? Okay.
I mean, it could also just be a full reason to uproot the bone tree.
Like, release it. So, yeah. Grumman is definitely interested to know what came first.
Hmm.
Like, what brought what to here? Was
Mm.
the
Yeah.
railroad and drawn here, or has this been that entity's plan the whole time?
Double checking above table on knowledge. You'd shared with
Mhm.
us, right, about the potential entity being held back.
Oh yes,
But,
Grumman did
yeah.
mention.
Yeah, we're all.
Yeah, like all the stuff that she learned with that natural
Okay.
twin.
I think June is thinking of her mother and thinking about what draws people to bargains. And a odd thought bubbles in her mind as Stag turns to everyone else and says, "What if this thing made a bargain with the railroad man? Maybe he was once just that, a railway man. But now whatever bargain he struck has changed him."
Pooja, could you do understanding magic for, I think 3. It'll be a DC 9.
Okay, so that's
So like
18.
so
Oh,
no, 3
okay,
times.
yeah.
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 It's total 9.
And all right. I did.
And
What does
do you
Edge
have
do
the
again?
Edge reduces the amount of points you'd like to spend. So
Oh,
instead
okay.
of
So
spending 3,
DC
you
9
spend
I
2.
could do.
Don't you
Yeah.
already have a thing that lowers it 1 step though?
You
I
probably do because you have a. Are you trained in magic?
I am trained in it.
Yes. So it's
Yeah.
down to a 2, so it's a 6.
Okay, good. Because I rolled an
Roll
8.
above a 6.
Ah!
Great.
Divine.
That's I was like, oh
You-
god, what does Edge do?
Yeah. You know that bargains take something from people, you think that if someone bet their whole soul, maybe, but then they probably wouldn't actually reap the benefits they were looking for. Like, if someone bet everything and then some, maybe that would happen, but that wouldn't mean they'd be devoted to the thing that's bound.
Okay.
So, you don't think anything could hollow out a person that much?
Mm-hmm.
You think that that's not how the tree works.
Is it kind of like? It made me think immediately of how, like, if someone owes you money, they're not going to kill you because then they won't get that money back. Like, it makes
Yeah.
more sense to hurt you.
Yeah.
Okay. So Grommet
But-
would, yeah. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
because Stag is thinking this entity is separate from the bone tree, so whatever more neutral or fair laws the tree would exact is maybe this thing is not in the same principle.
Well, I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
if you say anything, but Grommet's gonna tell you that tree is not
Mm.
neutral, like green magic. That tree is different. So, if the tree has rules, they're not the rules of nature. But
They're-
I don't know. Is
they're
Staggy
not-
saying anything? Grommet can't answer
Mm.
questions you don't ask.
Yeah, no, because Stag would vocalize that.
Okay.
The tree, whatever it is, I know you've spoken to me before, Elder, about its non-natural inclinations. But it is, for better or for worse, predictable. You give something, it takes something, and you get what you ask.
No
This-
way.
This entity doesn't feel that way. So I'd wondered maybe there's something else that's also doing the bargaining, but perhaps that's something else.
Does the tree feel more like chaos than evil?
It
If
doesn't.
mine is evil.
Honestly, it feels more like rules than chaos.
Okay.
It feels very structured.
Lawful evil is what you're saying.
It doesn't really feel lawful evil. It's like lawful neutral.
Neutral? Okay.
Like this tree has a job and it does it. Someone
we just don't
set
like
down-
how it do it.
Yeah, it's upsetting how it does it, but it has a means to an end, and someone set the rules for this tree.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When you get people may hate to admit it, but when they make a bargain with a tree, they kind of know what they're signing up for. And Grommet looks at Nelly.
Nelly
Yes.
is not even catching strays anymore. It's just direct shots.
It's just-
I mean, come on. But
I think Nelly is not looking at anyone. She's looking down at the ground and is doing kind of this repetitive motion with her finger, almost like she's knitting.
whatever's under the ground, that is unpredictable.
Do you think it's escaped like an old rabbit's burrow? Like a little rabbit has gone out the town to this place.
I don't know. I think we have to go find out. What is it this railroad man's doing that's causing the tree to fail or causing breaks in whatever protection the tree has had against it?
If
Something's
anyone
changed. Yeah.
if anyone would like to roll knowing the unknowable, you can
Ooh.
for a 6, which is an 18 total. Use what you
I
want. Roll.
am
You can
impaired.
roll.
That's
You
true.
can, yeah. You can roll There's no harm in rolling.
That's true.
You're
Does anyone else want to roll?
Not impaired. Sorry, no. I am. It's
Wait,
the eye. I don't have. I don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
training in this. I have
Oh.
a direct barrier to this, so I will not. That would probably be like over a 20. I'd have to roll.
Yeah.
So that's all on the rest of you.
I'll let. I think one of y'all should take it.
Who knows the unknowable?
Baby,
Speak.
I
Who
feel
knows?
like
Baby's connected
baby, you're
to that mind.
suspicious.
I'm
You're
superstitious.
You're superstitious. Sorry. Baby, you're suspicious.
Baby, you sus.
Oh, hey.
You're superstitious. I feel like knowing the unknowable would. Is that on your character sheet? Do you have any training in that?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's
I have-
surprising.
Yeah, I don't see knowing the unknowable. I copied or pasted a lot of this stuff.
That's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
so I
Do
feel
you have
like it would be
anything
on.
related to like knowledge at all that you could probably leverage? Because a lot of the skills are like
Yeah, understanding motivation. That's one I will allow for 18. Still.
No.
stares at my
I'm real
logging,
good at
intellect
mining.
defense, identifying plants or animals, navigation.
Ooh, we go look at plants together.
I can tell you what's poison.
If I did miss it, you can tell me, but I don't see it on my character sheet.
All right. No worries then.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Would it help if I lowered the DC by 1? I would like people to try. I don't want to make it impossible.
You know what?
I'll try. Can
Fuck it,
many
here
of
we
us,
go.
all of us
Here we
try?
go.
We'll all try.
I believe in
18?
us. Sure.
I'll lower it to a 5, so it's 15. You have to get
15?
above a 15.
So I have to roll 18 or higher.
2.
Okay.
All right.
I
Nelly,
got-
you're fake knitting.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I won't spend points because I feel like danger is
Hey,
around the
me
corner.
too.
Whoa!
I got a 15.
Oh yeah!
I got a 3.
Baby.
Oh my god.
It was meant to be.
Let's
Yes.
go,
It
baby.
was.
That
I
was
was
Anyone's
meant to
gonna
know the
do it.
unknowable.
You were meant to know the unknowable. And you are a superstitious person who knows the mines well. You are in there, in and out every day. You know exactly the weaknesses to explode.
Yeah. That's what I
um
do.
and you think that you passed the railroad man with Nelly. You looked into his eyes. You also saw that darkness. You know it's not unlike that same darkness that you eliminate time from time in the mines with your charges. You think that it's very likely, like, you think of it for a second and you become more and more certain. Yeah, it is like they're cousins. They are of the same family. You think that maybe somewhere else just got a little bit weaker and he got out. So he's trying to find family and get them out as well.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, yikes.
Out from where?
Out from the mountain.
Oh. I didn't want you to say
You
it. I thought maybe you would say
knew.
something else.
In the mountain.
Oh. It's not a railroad at all, is it really?
No.
They just want a big old hole right through the middle of the thing.
Mm-mm.
Alright, I mean, I tell everybody. That's probably what's going on down there.
Right.
Now do we...
Well, the sun has been gradually going lower and lower as you've talked down this doctor, led her to Grauman's house, did surgery on her, and she's still sitting there, a bit sweaty, a bit shaken, but a lot more sure of herself now.
He still has one more worm, though.
She still has one more worm. She's still not completely unaffected, but she is, like, in control of herself now. But the sun is dipping lower and lower. You have about like 45 minutes, half an hour before it's going to get a little too dark to like probably travel safely.
Then at that point, is it even worth it to go now? Because if we travel now, 45 some minutes towards the mines, we are there in dark.
Well,
What makes you say
It's
that we're going to
always
the mines
dark.
right now?
it
We're
I'd
just gonna
like to
walk
know what's going
straight
on.
into the mines?
I'd like to know what's going on. I'd like to see for myself.
See what? The darkness forever? Like, I don't see what? What are we supposed to do?
Well,
Stop it.
is it the mines?
Darkness, evil? We're gonna stop evil in the mines? Like,
Well, is it the mines or is it
it's somewhere in
the
there.
entity that is the railroad man just stopping him? Stop what's happening.
You said he got out, which means there's a place in which he had left,
Hmm.
which
We're
means
gonna
there's a
go?
vulnerability, which means there might be more that might wriggle out of there.
I know,
It's
but
it's
we can't
it
let
is a
him
big
out.
mountain range. It is the Appalachia. It's not just
Yeah.
here you think that there's something trapped. You think there's probably a lot more things like this. But there's other towns where there's a weaker point where maybe they drove towards a place that was protecting something. This isn't isolated, but this is something you can figure out.
Hmm.
Grommen is wondering, do we go to the hole left behind, or do we need to go drag the railroad man back in there and shove him back in his box? Because things have always lived in the mountain. The mountains are older than literally everything. So,
Well, you're not sure what hole he crawled out of. I think you've rolled a lot of understanding magic. I think given that you already this is still carrying over from that nat 20 of figuring out the bone tree, is that the bone tree was crafted by a bunch of paths of magic, a bunch of different kinds of witches. That's probably not something necessarily unique. It is probably something unique, but it's not a unique event. This probably has happened before where people have had needed to come together to seal something like this.
Yeah.
It's not crazy to maybe try and seal him away too.
But regardless, we can't go towards the mountain or anything at night.
oh no, I will not step out there at night. But
But you're
it's
saying
going to be dark down there no matter when we go.
you're saying like put a
That's-
patch on it. What was what
Huh.
we're gonna try and do, or
Dude,
Carter speaks up for a second and just goes, I mean, it's one night. What?
I have a thought.
Ah,
I have a spicy thought.
I have a thought.
Things come out at night,
Mhm.
which means it is not impossible that this motherfucker is gonna come out at night and do some weird stuff.
Well, so
I mean,
We
you've
have
been-
45
we
45
know
minutes
the
of
four
daylight.
people who made the deals, right? There were
Exactly.
4 deals made. We know all 4.
got two of them.
Exactly. Stag
How
is
far is Rosemary?
You know where Rosemary lives.
I know. So what me, Valiant Dorian, aka Stag, is thinking is going to whoever home is closest and setting a trap. I'm a trapper. I have traps. It's in my character sheet. I could set a
Okay.
trap for them. Actually, I could do 2 things. I could send something to watch one house, and I can set a trap in another. So we're gonna have to play
Okay.
50-50 here.
Okay.
Well, so Leo's already been infected or not?
Yes. You
Yeah.
do
He's
know that
been
you were the
infected.
first one you saw. Yes.
Okay, so if we're going with Stag's plan, there's only 2 people of the 4 who are not infected yet.
Jesus
Right?
Christ.
We keep
Mhm.
one here,
Or
and
we all go
we
to the
set it-
other
and we
one,
s-
or if we're,
or we set a
or we
trap
could
at the
all
other
go-
one.
We set a trap
Because-
at the other one.
Why do we go?
Because
Yeah.
I have a cipher that I would love to
Mm.
use.
Mm-hmm.
That will let me call a friend, and
Call
we
in a
can
friend?
have this friend hang around us. So even if said person doesn't show up or they think better of it in terms of like entering Grauman's houses, we at least have the information that they tried to approach.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, we gather information. So
Oh.
I'll probably call the friend to hang out with us here, and then set a trap near Rosemary's, or vice versa, whichever.
Grauman's also wondering if the railroad man wants to come to Nelly, is he gonna go to Nellie's house? Because why would he may not know that she's here?
I mean, the
I
I can
worms
send
know
my
where
friend
she
to the
is.
house.
If the worms
My
can communicate.
dad is there. My dad will
But-
be home.
Your dad didn't make a deal.
No. But
It only wants those of you who made a deal. Your dad will be
I mean,
fine.
I mean, either way, if we are concerned with her home, I can
No,
send.
I'm concerned with her and Rosemarie. Set your trap. We protect 2 people. I don't know if we want to get both of them in the same place, but we need to protect 2 people. That's
I will
through the
go now
night.
to set the trap.
I'll be fine. I'll be okay.
where. You just stay here. You'll be here. You'll be okay here.
I'll be fine anywhere.
Are you trying to go
Yeah.
home?
I'm just saying that whatever this entity is, I don't think that it'll be able to get me.
Why do you think that?
What'd you make your deal about? What'd you give up?
So, ever since I've been little, I've had these kind of whispers, these thoughts that are always at the back of my mind, and they say really bad things, and I traded something similar to the doctor. I traded rest, traded my ability to sleep. I don't get much of it anyway. For protection.
You're only as protected as the tree is strong. If the tree gave you the protection.
I'm gonna go set the trap. Stag says nothing else, and because we're running out of time, and
Yeah.
goes to set the trap.
So are you setting it at Rosemarie's house, Leo's house, or at the foreman's house? What I'm asking.
I'm setting the trap at Rosemary's house. I will be the ominous lesbian that hangs around Rosemary's house. Once I'm done with that, I will return to Grauman's house and set my friend to Nellie's house. Because doth the lady protest too much, and Stag is just like, I know you feel and think this way, but the way you feel and thought has got us also in this very, very interesting situation. So I'm just going to cover my bases.
We trusted the judgment here. Really? Trust but verify?
Listen, if whether Nellie stays with us is fine, then we can watch Nellie. Call it hunter's instinct. Stag wants to make sure that house is covered. Even if nothing happens, Stag wants to know and get confirmation nothing happened.
Okay.
Are we
So-
forcing Nellie to stay at Grauman's house?
It depends. Stag has
Not
left.
gonna-
That's up to the 2 of you.
Grauman's not gonna force you to do anything, but Grauman's just gonna say, we're stronger together. He didn't come in. He didn't try to force his way in.
Guys, I have a really bad thought. I just had a really
Ew.
bad
Oh
horrible thought.
Oh my god,
No, no, no.
same.
Leo has worms in him and nobody is taking care of him right now. What if there's a problem? I don't know what problem. A
What if
worm-related
he's a
issue.
He could get
Faye,
wormier.
why are you making
He could get wormier or he could get evil.
That's true. I guess are we? Is Dr. Q good?
Dr.
Dr.
Carter
Q?
is Dr.
Is
QTC
she done?
is like she, as I said, she's like more in control of herself. It looks like if there's like one worm, possibly manageable.
Okay. And you saw one on Leo, is that right?
I saw the one
Okay.
on Leo.
Which could explain why he was in better shape than Dr.
Yeah.
Carter. But you're right. What
But
if
we
he
also
comes
saw
back
him
and
the
gets
day
wormed too?
before.
Yeah. Did the railroad man come to you once or more than once? Dr. Carter. Yeah.
It came to me once, but I don't know. I was fine at first. I don't know if they multiply.
Why is
I just have a
Faye
feeling
trying to
that-
split the party this bad?
we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. I feel like Leo's in a way my responsibility, and I just have this really bad feeling that if he's left alone tonight, it's just things are gonna get bad in a way that I don't think I can handle.
Should we? Well, I don't think it makes sense for us to be in 3 places. So maybe or 4 places. Let's try to be in 2. We go with you to Leo's.
All of us go over
I mean,
to Leo's.
I'll go with you to Leo's. Nelly?
I'm really worried that if my daddy doesn't know where I am, then he's gonna go out looking for me, and if he's outside at night in the dark,
No,
that's not something that I'm comfortable.
So Stag, you were saying the trap at Rosemary. Would you go with Nelly to Nelly's house then?
I mean, Stag will would set the friend towards Nellie's,
Okay.
and unless communicated to, because she's already left,
Yeah.
she might just return to her cabin. I don't think we should be worried about Stag. She can navigate her way quickly.
No, I'm not worried about Stag. Stag's useful though.
Stag is useful.
Yeah,
Stag is
it's like
useful.
it's more like, what if we need her? Oh,
I
if,
mean,
if Stag's in her cabin on the way in, Grom's gonna knock and be like, "Let's go."
I'll leave it up to Faye. Faye, what do you think in terms of the timings of everything?
In terms of the timing, I say you already said you left. You're gone. You're gone to set up the trap. I will ask, what does this friend that you are sending to watch the foreman's house? What does this friend look like?
You
So,
have another.
I have a friend.
Wait, what?
So once I set the
Wow.
trap, and
Coming
you can let me know if I need to roll for that, Faye.
Okay.
But to set what Stag will do after setting the trap is on the way back, will pull out 2 antlers that are very clear. They're so pale, they look like they come from a completely white stag. And she will smack the antlers together and start uttering a phrase that she had learned as a child from their mother. And June calls on a dear spirit to come to her aid. And for the next 10 minutes per cipher level, so I
Mhm.
have a level 3 in this, so that is 30 minutes.
Mhm.
So for the next 30 minutes, I will have a deer that can assist me, and I will instruct it to stay within the periphery of the foreman's house and inform me of any odd movement relating to worms or a dark entity.
Okay. I'll say you do this like 15 minutes after, like in the time of like setting the trap, getting to Rosemary's house, doing this,
Mhm.
and then you set it. So then there's like the half hour between the sun setting to
Mhm.
actually get that. So you've got it patrolling. So then resolving where everyone else is. So I believe, Nelly, you are going back to your house. You decide on that? Okay. Then I asked Baby and Gromit. Gromit, you say you would let her leave. Baby, would you let her leave?
I mean, do I have time to at least escort her home safe? I mean, like
That's up
travel-wise.
to yeah. It would be cutting it kind of close. You'd probably get to Leo's at. You might have to do a luck roll to see if Leo is there.
I'd be okay doing a luck roll to see if he's even at his home.
I'll be okay. I can go quick.
I mean, I don't want you getting caught up with the railroad man if you're on the path by yourself.
I
I mean, you don't
I
even
don't
have.
know if it. I don't know if it extends to the railroad man, but I very specifically have protection against darkness, and if he's that darkness, I'll be okay.
All right. Then I'll go straight to Leo's.
Okay. Then, Nelly, you walk on this path as the sun starts to turn a bright red and dip behind the mountain. Yes, that's west. As the sun starts to dip, and the ice and the trees starts to harden again after the heat of the sun started to make it melt a little bit. The path gets a little slick as you walk, but you take deep breaths. You keep a keen eye as you walk down the path. For a second, right as you get to your house, you feel like you see something out of the corner of your eye, but it's just a deer. A very pale deer, but just a deer.
I think Nellie's not even looking as it gets darker and darker. She's just focusing on her feet carrying in front of her, because if you see it, then that alerts them. So she is got her head down. She is booking it. She is just trying to be as small and unnoticeable and unnoticing as possible.
There is the good old reliable on your porch. You see your dad's work sack, his lunchbox, the boots that are half clean outside. You don't see his helmet, but what can you do? I guess he forgot it back at the mines this time. You go into your house and he's in the kitchen. And it looks like he's just boiling some water and already has a knife out, just peeling some potatoes. We can get something ready for supper.
I'm gonna come in and shut the door. Hi, Daddy. Sorry, that was a bit late. Oh.
Yay! Oh, you're cutting it close. You've been out all day?
I know it's been a. I got held up a bit more than I was anticipating.
Okay, well, you know, you have your plans. You're grown. All right. Well, you wanna maybe chop some of the carrots, wash them a bit?
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
How did the mine go today? Did you manage to get
Uh,
them
we
away from the tree at all?
we might have enough in budget to actually go in the other direction. It might be all right. Yeah, we might have a grant coming in. To be seen yet. You might want to chop a few more carrots. We have a guest coming.
Oh, who?
Yeah,
Who?
the agent of the railroad or whatever, I think called himself Mr. Sharp. Uh, he's talking about maybe not buying out the whole mountain, but just giving a grant. helping fund us a little harder to, you know. Didn't you?
He's coming.
You all
He's
right?
coming. Daddy, I don't think that that's a good idea. I don't think that we should have any guests tonight. I don't think that that's smart. I don't think that
Well,
I don't like that. I think that that's a really bad idea.
well, I mean, honey, you asked me to consider. I'm considering. I'm working to try and go in the other direction, but I mean, the reason we couldn't quite go in this direction before is we didn't really have the money to get to fund, and now we might have the funding to. I mean, it's one or the other. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I understand that, Daddy. I understand that that's a lot of pressure that you're under, and I appreciate you taking
Okay.
that.
You don't have to be here for the meal if you don't want to, if you're not feeling well. I love you very much. I don't want you
I love
uncomfortable.
you very much. No, I'll be here. I'll be
Okay.
here. But you can't let him touch me. You can't let him touch me.
Of course.
Not even a
No.
handshake.
All right. Yeah, I'll sit between you and the table.
Okay.
You'll be all right. It's just a man.
Grandpappy was just a man too.
Yeah, he was, but he was a vulnerable one. Yeah.
I'm gonna go walk.
Okay. All right, take your time. And the stag walking circles around the house. How do you communicate with the stag? Does the stag just chase back to you? Can you see through its eyes? Can you feel its emotions?
I would really like if I were allowed to, if I could feel how it's feeling. Not necessarily see
Okay.
what it's seeing, but just
You
this sort of like animal instinct.
there's this normal feeling of just like going around, like it's doing its perimeter, it's doing its surveillance, and you can feel it's almost like an echo of, like, you can feel it in another area, you can feel those emotions, you can feel like the tenseness in its body as it locks up upon being under the gaze of a predator.
Ellie. And without any concern for the darkness, June marches to Nellie's house.
All right. And now, Baby and Grommen, you're walking down this path down to Leo's house. It's a little ways past your own house, Baby, or what you might call your own house, or the Evanses' house. And as you're walking past your own house, Renee is out in the front, actually, just feeding some to the chickens in their little coop. She calls you over on the path and goes, "Baby, you all right? It's getting dark."
I'm doing all right. I'm heading over to Leo's for the night.
Okay.
Is there something wrong?
I thought I saw him heading towards town a little bit ago. I'm not sure. Although honestly, it could have been Jasper. The man did not look well enough to be Leo, that's for sure.
All right. And you're sure it was town and it wasn't like towards the mines or anything like that?
Well, I mean, you take the same path to get to the mines. But he wouldn't be going to the mines at this time. It's almost supper.
Yeah, you're right. Must have been Jasper. I'll see you tomorrow. Just make sure you stay inside tonight.
All right. We'll see you
All right.
tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Um,
Hello, ma'am. And she goes back in.
That sounds kind of like we should be heading in the other direction.
It's in the same sort of. You guys are more like kitty corner neighbors.
Hmm.
Okay.
Like because she was out in the yard, she saw
Yeah.
someone leaving the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like we should be heading maybe towards town instead of
Mhm.
Instead of
Alright.
toward. I should want
You
to head to the mines yet. I don't. Sorry.
No.
roll a perception real quick. Level 3, so it's a 9. Perception.
I think I can.
It's just a cheeky little
I
perception.
think I could. Okay.
What's the harm?
You got
I'm gonna see really good. Yeah, 13. I saw so good. I saw just good enough.
You saw just good enough? Awesome. You
Yeah.
do see someone resting in the bed. In a bed. You can see like there's a window to one of the bedrooms. You see someone resting in a bed. And as you're walking past, it's one of those things of like your eyes stick, something's not
Yeah.
quite right and you can't quite understand why. You stop in the road, in this path, and you keep watching this form that isn't breathing.
Inside Leo's house?
Yes.
Is it? It's not Leo, is it? Is
You go closer to the window, cutting through this little area of trees that blocks it, and go right up to the window. This is Jasper's bedroom. And he stares up blankly to the ceiling. He was an older man. Maybe it was natural, but given everything that's happening, you're not quite sure.
All right. I mean, do we Gromit? Do we follow him, or do we follow something like that out at night, or what?
I feel like at night that's a. I mean, out of character. Garmin definitely feels that at night that's a terrible idea to follow things.
I just don't want to wait
I,
and make it worse.
no, I don't either. I think it makes more sense to get everyone together.
Yeah, I think that's a good first step in this. Do we head in the same direction as Leo, though? Because that's probably the direction we'd be heading
Yeah.
for the most part. Is we're gonna end up
We can-
following him either way.
Well, yeah, I think if he goes towards the mines or down, we don't follow any longer. But
Yeah, I won't. I'm not
Yeah.
following that into the mines.
yeah,
But
we
I
can
think we should let
happen to
everyone
walk
know.
in the same direction, and that's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I guess we're
you-
heading to town.
Yeah. You start heading down the path. Roll a navigation check. Difficulty 2. So it's a 6.
Should it
Both
be
of you.
me? Okay.
Well, yeah.
Both of us?
It is me?
Sure, I'll say baby. Just because I don't think Gromit goes to town the most often, actually.
No.
This makes sense.
No, definitely not.
It's just a 6.
Yeah, just a 6.
Okay.
Just a
7.
saucy little 6.
7.
It's a 7!
I don't want to fail any rolls now. Now I'm like every roll is haunting.
Anyway, you start
Understandable.
walking down the path. You, like, it's a fairly, like, the town is sort of built in this crescent shape around the mine. So, like, it sort of goes down almost like a funnel. So you just go around the lip of this funnel. Roll a perception. Both of you can roll
Okay.
perception of 4. So a 12.
Okay, so
Oh.
Gromit is trained in that, so that's a 3 for 9.
Yes.
rolled a 7, so
I don't
that's
want
me.
to spend any of my points yet, so. Ooh,
Well, I rolled a 7, so.
I rolled a 5.
Oh, duh.
All right. So you walk, the sun slowly sinks, and you get back around the lip, back towards where you know the foreman's house is. And what you don't see is Leo's stumbling footsteps as he catches on every loose rock going down the side closest to the bone tree, down into the mine. His skin gray and almost loose on his body. But you don't see that, so it's fine.
Can't feel guilty about it if we don't see it, I guess.
You feel guilty. He's fine.
It's crazy because I actually do feel guilty.
So you start coming back around the other side. No.
No.
What the fuck does
Sorry.
that mean?
Actually, no, actually, yeah.
I just had a moment of like, would you guys run into the railroad man as he's coming up too? But no, the timeline doesn't work out.
If I
He
see
got
him,
it
I'll kill him.
The timeline might
I'm
not,
so
but the
scared.
drama.
The drama.
The
I mean,
drama.
Let's
You
not meet the railroad man, actually.
you curl
I
back
don't-
up the path as you come to the door, and you see the railroad man knock on Nellie's door. Nellie,
Who's-
you hear this knock echo through the house, and Grommen and Baby, you get there as you're seeing this happen, and Stag, you're almost tearing through the trees, coming up, like cutting through the clearing in between, behind these two as well. And he turns to see this sudden company of people, and the door opens, the light shining within. And I think we're gonna cut to a break. Hello! Welcome to the impromptu dinner party. As we come back, as the railroad man, Mr. Sharp as he is sometimes called apparently, has knocked on the door, and the door is opened, Nellie, as you were in the kitchen, you felt like this knock echoed through the house. Your father opened the door to this man, this thing, and does his regular warm greeting of, "Hello, it's nice to meet you. Um, the house is a bit small, but don't mind it." As you three come up behind him, the railroad man had turned just to see you coming, and a wide grin had split across his face at the sight, especially seeing Grommen there, out of her house. He turns to greet the foreman, Mr. Harrison. "Hello. Yes, it's been quite a day, hasn't it? If I could come in and step out from the cold, that would be a delight. It looks like you might have a few other guests. Were they invited as well?"
They are, yeah. Yes.
Your dad turns to look at you and goes, "Oh, okay. Oh, okay." Completely misunderstanding the situation to think that that was why you were nervous and upset at first, was that you had already invited some people over, that, oh, this doesn't quite, you didn't want to mess up his plans.
I just want to step out of the game for 2 seconds to say that the oh okay is the exact same reaction that my dad had when I came out. I just wanted to say I'm good. We can go back.
That's beautiful.
Oh my god! Art imitates life.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Okay. And he lets the railroad man in as he lightly taps his shoes on the outside and steps over the threshold, with you three coming up closer to the door and Mr. Harrison waving a hand out. Hello, hey baby, and Stag, and Holly?
Yeah.
Oh, welcome. Might have to fix a little bit more up. I'll just add a bit to the stew. It'll be about 10 minutes if that's all right. And he shuts the door as you all come in out from the cold, the warmth immediately bursting on your face. Bursting on your face?
It's the pause for me, and we're
Yep.
just.
I don't know why that was the verb.
But I love it though.
I'm an adult.
This is a horror show, everybody.
This is a horror show. This is so clearly a horror show. Did you not just see what I said? Anyway, the heat flashes on your face as your cheeks feel immediately rosy and your hair frizzy in a way that you didn't. Seeing lock in Faye from Maddy in the chat. Thank you. As you feel immediately from coming out from the cold, you shed a layer or two and you hang it up on the very thin coat rack that has only just existed for 2 people for many years. And Nellie, you see your friends look over at you, each with some sort of information in their eyes that you can't quite decipher in the moment. Your father...
Stag is pretty obvious. Stag is staring murder in the
Stag.
face. Stag is contemplating murder with a hand on the machete hilt on her belt.
I think
Only
within
murder on
that-
her mind.
I think within that is gonna see Stag doing that and is thinking that Stag's just really still mad at Nelly and is like,
No!
Oh!
There's a man here and I want to kill him!
There's a quick hand on your shoulder from your father, Nelly, of just, I'm gonna go fix up a little bit more stew. It's all right. If you could entertain them all for a minute or two, that I'll help finish setting the table.
I'm
And
very
he
good at
goes on.
entertaining.
Yeah. It's a bit of a open concept. That's the only word I can think of in any house description, but there is like a fairly big doorway into the kitchen. Right outside the kitchen is like the dining table and the chairs around there. And then there's the sort of living room of like rocking chair, sturdy chair, big like rope like rug in front of the hearth, like fireplace, and like a basket of logs, all the things tending to a fire. So you're just sort of in this open area. Down the hall is like the stairs upstairs to the bedrooms and like the washroom. So you all are out here. So if voices rise, Foreman will definitely hear other people. But if you're just talking in a normal tone, probably won't be anything peculiar to him. But the railroad man with his dark hair, his like spindly sort of fine mustache, and the silvery pinstripes that sort of glint in the firelight a little bit against this dark navy night blue almost. As he turns and the darkness of his eyes catch like flint in the firelight on you all and goes, "Well, quite a dinner party we have on our hands."
Yeah. And I regretfully did not catch your name.
Oh, Mr. Sharp is usually what I go by. And he holds out a hand to shake.
Don't touch her.
I would never do something against someone's will.
Really?
Everyone makes a choice to shake my hand.
But do they know what choice they're making?
Does anyone?
Riddles in the dark.
Mm.
Stag has one hand gripped, white knuckling on the hilt of the machete.
Mr. Sharp's body betrays no tension. He's relaxed. He sort of strides around the room a little bit. He walks around inspecting everything like it's his. He looks at the pictures, he looks at the frames, sort of cocks his head, looks at the rug like he's a movement away from throwing it out before throwing it in the fire even. Just looks at everything a little bit disappointed, a little bit hungry.
I'm sorry, is the house not to your liking?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's got wonderful potential. And you've done wonders with what you have.
Well, thank you. That's a very kind thing to say.
What'd you do to Leo?
I shook his hand, offered him my condolences for his uncle's condition. Word around town was that he was desperate.
Sure was.
That's what you do, right? Feed on desperation. That's what you are, isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably the best similarity.
You should leave.
Are you going to make me? Are you going to raise your voice, get the foreman in here?
I will do what I think is necessary. You should leave.
Hmm. Foreman! And he raises his voice, calling to the other room as he walks past you and closer to the door, picking up his hat off the coat rack, which he placed on the very top. It seems I have another appointment that I think I've forgotten about. My apologies. So much to do, so little time. Another time, perhaps. We can hammer out these logistics.
Leaving so
And-
soon.
And he turns to you. You're about like 5 feet from him. And the shadow behind him cast by the fire seems to flicker in a way not entirely solely from the fire. As he looks at you, and you see that familiar hunger in his eyes. Well, I'll be back soon as I'm able. And the foreman comes out of the kitchen with this big pot of stew and goes, well, we'll have a more intimate dinner another time, really. It's been a hectic day anyway. And he sets it on the table, comes over, shakes his hand, and he leaves.
As he shakes his hand, do we see any inclination, any worms?
You see no inclination of any worms.
A wormless handshake. Good.
A wormless handshake, the best
What I like to
kind.
hear. Mhm.
I like my handshakes wormless. And the foreman opens the door, and Mr. Sharp steps on out into the quickly closing darkness.
Stags
Foreman-
walks to the window and watches the path that Mr. Sharp takes.
He walks down the path, takes a right back towards town.
Stag stands there for an uncomfortably long time in the foreman's house, like staring outside the foreman's window at the foreman's guest.
The foreman is like finishing taking out like additional dishes that like aren't really out very often, and sets them down, sort of brings out like a mug to ladle in his own stew because he only has 4 sets of dishes, and there's only 4 places at the table, and he goes, you know what, I think I'll make it an early night. I'll wash my dish in the morning. Nellie, if you're comfortable just doing dishes afterwards, is that all right?
For sure.
Okay. You enjoy the dinner and everything. I'm gonna go upstairs. It's a bit dark out. Are y'all staying the night? We have some extra blankets. Could move some chairs off the rug.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll make
We
sure
shall.
that they're
Thank you.
taken care of. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night. And he
Love you.
goes upstairs. Love you.
Stag watches the foreman's retreating back up the stairs, takes her like backpack off of her, and pulls out a like thick wad of summer sausages and places on the table as like her payment. And walks over to you, Nelly, and looks you up and down. You okay?
I don't know. I don't know. Do you see anything? Do you see anything? You can be honest. You can be honest right now.
Do I
I'm
see
not gonna
anything?
lie, but-
Roll perception. Perception.
Perception.
Roll perception. I'm losing it. It's
Do you want me to
task of
encourage you?
1.
Okay. Test of 1. I believe
So you
this.
have
I
to
believe
get
in
it.
me.
More than 3.
I believe in me.
3 or
I
more.
did get more than 3. I got a 19.
Let's
How's that for a minor
go.
effect?
You see no
Mhm.
You see no worms on Nelly. What's more, you look out the window, you do see like the tremoring shadows outside. You think that it would definitely not be safe outside. So it is
Uh,
certain.
Stack gets like really close to you, Nelly, and is looking you over. And then you hear it. This woman who is so stoic, so unbelievably neutral in everything, breathe a sigh of relief. Like fear has left her body, a relief that you're safe. She cares. And then she pulls away from you, marches to all of your windows, and shuts the curtains.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go shut all of.
That was close.
All right, so what do we? I mean, what are we doing? What's next? Do we? Are we gonna be killing that thing, or are we still planning
No,
on going
we
to the
can't.
mines? Are we gonna go chase him down? I mean,
No, we're not chasing him right now.
where will we even find him in the morning? I've only ever seen him out at night. Right? Sorry, out of character. Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
You've only seen him in like the evening or at night.
He only comes out at night.
so I just don't know how we're gonna be sealing up something that doesn't exist during the day.
He still has other targets. He would not come towards Nelly thinking that we are protective, and he would ensure to have a formal invitation. He did have one, yes, from your father.
I believe so.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have another.
You said something about your friend. What happened?
Uh, went over to Leo's place and the old man Jasper's dead. It just didn't seem this bad omen sort of thing. Like, I mean, I don't know
Hmm.
if Leo did it, but like it just felt wrong.
Question above the table.
Mhm.
Did you share with us your, because I think it was kind of confirmed, but mostly your suspicions. Did you ever share with us the terms of Leo's bargain that was likely for Jasper?
Uh,
Um,
I think I mentioned it to Baby. I don't know if Baby ever said anything.
Yeah, that's why I was double
Yeah.
checking.
Oh,
Have you ever told
I
us?
just I hadn't seen it as important, so I hadn't yet. I hadn't said
Okay, no,
anything
that's
that it was
okay. That's
for
fine.
Jasper.
Yeah, so Stag
No, totally
wouldn't
good
ask.
point.
That's
Totally good
fine.
point. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, no, I just had to ask because if you had said it, then Stag would bring that up. If not,
Mhm.
Stag just goes, and your friend is nowhere to be found in the house?
Yeah, Mama Renee said that uh he was heading in the direction of the mines towards the town. So,
Shit.
I mean, we didn't run into him when we were walking this direction, so there's that, but you know. Um I mean, I don't know. I mean, he could be heading to Rosemary's place. That's somebody else who
Unfortunately, perhaps your friend is too far gone.
like you think he's kind of like the railroad man?
E- Either that or similar to Dr. Carter's situation. Unfortunately, we don't know how many interactions or how much time or where he even is. But we do know he has two other targets: Nellie, who is with us, and Rosemary. I am of the inclination that we should capture him. he is a huge problem,
Mhm.
even if we were to go to the source of the issue. There's no point taking out a fire in the forest if there's a big, hungry bear in your way. So we should deal with him first before dealing with the fire.
So they're gonna be kind of separate things. We don't think they have to be. I guess I don't
Are
really know
are
how
you
the magic
talking
things
about
work.
are you talking about the forest being the thing in the mountain under the tree?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe it was you were talking about the railroad man and Leo as separate things.
No,
I wasn't sure.
no.
Okay.
Leo is a
Just some
would-be
guy.
Leo is a would-be nice. It would be nice if we could help Leo.
Yeah, Leo would be
Not the
a
priority.
nice to have, not a
Mhm.
have to have.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
Sorry. Um,
Because
But-
as far as the railroad man is concerned, he has Leo. If assuming he is similar to Dr. Carter or worse.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's probably heading to Rosemary.
I would like another knowing the unknowable.
Sure.
Okay,
Fuck it.
I'll give y'all a choice. Knowing the unknowable, understanding motivations, or understanding magic. I know Grommen can only do the understanding magic, but everyone else can choose between knowing the unknowable and understanding motivations. And it'll be a 5, so it'll be 15.
I'll do
Use
understanding
whatever you want.
motivations. I'm not
Yeah?
trained, but I'm not enabled in it, so
I was
I'll
gonna say
take
I
that.
would do understanding motivations as well because I think that that's very, very much up Nellie's
Mm-hmm.
alley.
I'll do knowing the unknown.
I got a 7, so
Um, remind me with
Uh,
edge, if I have some that in like
Mhm.
intellect, can I
So that
use
means-
that?
Yeah, so what that means essentially is if you have an edge, instead of spending the 3 points to make something easier, you just need to spend 2.
Mm,
So you would move it down to 4, so 12.
Which is what I'm going to do, which puts my intellect pool at 7.
Yeah,
I
get
don't
him.
have a lot of intellect.
oh no, I'm just gonna
Let's go. Let's go, dog.
Okay.
raw it.
Okay.
15?
It's a.
Nice.
That's exactly
Meets it,
beats
beats it.
I got 14, and that was moved down by 1.
Oh, then you also get it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. 16, but I also spent the points to put it down by 1, so
Okay.
the points have been spent.
So, knowing the unknowable and understanding motivations. With everything you know, and I think maybe it hits Nellie first with like have everyone throwing out the things that they know about the railroad man, they know about the tree. You start ruminating more on how does this work? What is the plan here? Because the railroad man needs people who have made bargains, needs them to go to the mines for whatever reason. And as you are you're starting to sort of grasp it and understand it a bit more, you think that maybe the tree has rules. You know this. The tree has very specific rules. Almost like you don't know computer technology, but like a binary code. Like there's truths and there's false. So when it reads the thing under the tree, it knows and it recognizes it as for what it is and keeping it there. And it makes bargains, which is something of its own, almost like its own DNA sort of thing. So sort of a thing of, if you walked into the mine with clean clothes, completely hair done, like dewy, beautiful, moisturized skin, you would be pointed out by everyone pretty easily as someone who's not meant to be there. People would recognize you. If you walked in and out, face full of soot, dirty clothes, helmet down, it would be a lot harder to tell the difference. What the thing is looking for, what the railroad man probably found and got out in his own way, is something to be hollowed out. A new set of clothes, a fresh face, so it can walk out of the mines, tree none the wiser.
Fuck.
Oh, no. Oh,
But knowing this, and knowing that Leo wasn't in the best condition, as was mentioned, it doesn't feel likely that that's a skin that will last. So there is still time to figure something out. So, you guys want to build a trap for this thing?
Yeah. I think that's what needs to happen, right?
Was that also part of the knowing the unknowable rule?
Yeah, like you know that this thing has rules. You know that it's needing to follow these rules to get out. You can use these rules to your advantage as well.
And not accidentally become the skin suit it wears out.
Yeah. No,
in the process.
Yeah.
Time to make some goddamn traps, huh?
We're in the end game, y'all.
Mm.
They're in the end game, right?
All right, so how do you trap an ancient evil?
It's got a body, right? Human bodies have their own issues, problems. I have some that can trappings that can capture large animals. I could probably makeshift them for the humans they're inhabiting.
I'm gonna add this on to babies, knowing the unknowable.
Yeah.
You are in and out of the mines. You know the mines like the back of your hand. You know all the weak points, and you know how to set charges. So this is also home turf for you as well.
Yeah. I mean,
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How do player intrusions work?
So, that requires XP, which we have not been awarded yet. But you could intrude by spending an XP. The same way that a GM would award you XP if they wanted to intrude.
Okay. Oh, the reason I ask is because one of my player intrusions, like my second level one, is Grasp of the Green, which is that roots, branches, grass, mud, or other foliage in the area snags and hold a foe you designate within short range. So
Hey.
you could literally use the green as a trap for a short amount of time if holding for a short amount of time while we did something else was necessary. Oh, also, there's another one that I have which is fun, which is a sudden vision. A flash of insight provides you with a clear answer or suggests a course of action with regard to an urgent question, problem, or obstacle you're facing.
Terrifying.
Damn, that's crazy. Grauman, you reach in, you pull out a gun.
Give Robin a gun.
That's a vision. It's just a vision. It's a vision. I envisioned a gun. Let's go make one.
If we give Gromit a gun, this is gonna turn from a 4-shot into like at least a 12-shot, and it's just gonna be taking the gun away.
Grommen's got a gun.
I think Grommet deserves a gun as a treat.
Oh, Grommen don't want no gun. Grommen just
I
wants to
have-
nap. Be left alone.
I have the ability to create darkness that will make it difficult for them to move. Okay, just
What
go
the
with your
fuck?
face. I'm sorry. Hey, listen. I have that
Listening.
ability. I can also
I need everybody to be real
see
cool with a lot of stuff real quick.
I need everybody to be really cool about a lot of stuff really quickly.
Uh-huh.
I can do that. I also have the ability to see in that darkness with the cipher.
Christ. Okay. I can hurt things real good.
I was like, okay, so
I have a magic question that the GM has to answer faithfully about a small area. So, I mean, I could be like, is this gonna work?
True. You can ask that. You can
that's
straight up make a
that's the
plan and
thing
ask
you can
that.
do. I thought you said literally. I have
like
a
I
question.
it's like the GM has to answer you truthfully. So I could be like,
oh, I love that.
work, and then we can find out if we're true.
This is true. You can do that.
I mean, that would be nice.
I mean, it's
like
time to blow
confirmation.
out the character sheets, right?
yeah.
Let's go.
So I think trapping you in the mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, before we put up a trap, we should figure out what we do if the trap succeeds.
How to keep people from digging him back up, or
The tree works because many witches combine different magics.
I mean,
Grommet looks at all of us. I mean, everybody there. I'm like, do any of you have any magics?
I mean, no.
Nelly,
have
kind of.
explosives.
Kind of. So here's the thing. I sort of have. I have what I wouldn't call magic, but I have a family curse.
Curses are magic.
Okay, and I've got something.
Is it a useful curse? Can we use it?
I mean, it's kind of. It's not exactly something that I. So you have to understand that this is sort of something that I've spent my entire life trying to keep down, and you know, I thought that it was bad this entire time. I think, honestly, if you want my 2 cents, I think that I'm really much more connected in this, and the thought of, yes.
Okay. I don't know if 2 magics is gonna be enough to keep it down there, but better than 1.
All right. So we've got plan of using magic, keeping it down there.
Oh,
Is that the whole? Yeah?
Well, if we keep it down there, we'll try to trap it again, right?
Mhm.
Grommen will. Has Grommen seen the friend before? The stag? Stag?
Have they? Stag?
I mean, ciphers are a one-use thing, so I'm going to say, in
Mm.
line with the law of the mechanics of the game,
Oh, they're one.
you would not have
use.
ever, you would not have
Oh,
ever
because mine
seen-
recharges every morning. I thought they all recharge.
Oh no, mine's a one-use thing.
Oh.
Which means actually, Grommen,
Mm.
Stag Stag had an item that had magic that was gifted to her.
Mm.
It seemed like, because as far as you know, Stag has never used or utilized magic of any kind.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Did Grommen see you use the item?
I don't think so, because that was before
Mm.
the thing.
That would have been like in Rosemary's backyard.
Yeah, so then
Yeah.
Grommen, I don't know if Grommen knows that you used
Yeah.
a magical item.
Unless you saw the white stag on the way here. I do not know how long Faye wanted our friend to be up. He'd be,
You might
he'd be
have.
up for
Yeah,
30 minutes.
I think you would have like seen it run away as you like entered the house.
Okay. Then Grommen, knowing that Stag said they were going to send a friend
Yeah.
to Nelly's, Grommen would say, the creature earlier.
Hmm.
Can you bring it back?
And Stag pulls out the item that she used to summon it, and you see that the antlers are broken.
Okay.
She thinks for a moment and says, my mother had... I do not know if she had magic, but it felt like she knew more about the world. Maybe there might be something amongst her things that I could find that may help us. I'd have to check.
Any more magic would be better. It's worth a look.
Okay.
What time is it right now?
It's
Nighttime.
probably it's probably about like 6, 7. Like it's evening now.
Okay, but we're all gonna settle down here and spend the night here. So
Yeah.
we're just planning. Okay.
Slumber party!
Yeah, because Grommen will. Hold on. At the end of the night, want to do something before bed, but if other folks want to do stuff because that's still a ways away.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
We'll s-
I don't think I
You
have
go, baby.
anything else. I was just saying, I think that, yeah. I mean, we can get ready to settle down. I'm good.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I mean, it's kind of been revealed. I don't exactly sleep anymore, so I'm
Oh.
more than happy to keep watch.
No. Even if you don't sleep, allow your mind to clear. What we are about to do is dangerous. And you are perhaps in the most danger. So still your mind. I can keep watch.
We take turns.
And you all must eat.
It's fall, right? What?
It's like the end of winter. It's like the last
Okay.
cold snap before finally starts melting.
Okay. So it's still darkness is still long. So
Yes.
it's definitely enough time for all of us to take turns taking watch and still
Yeah.
get enough
Yeah.
rest.
The night is long and it is dark.
Then
Yeah.
the night is long, terrifying, full of worms.
Full of worms.
Yeah.
The night is long and full of worms, as the poets say.
Yep.
Stag
Um,
fully fills each of your bowls up with food, even when unprompted by all of you, because it's time to eat.
Oh, get some of that summer sausage cut up in there. Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god.
Sounds so
That was
good.
crazy.
That sounds so good.
Someone wipe Stag up right now.
Oh my god.
Eat. We're about to kill a man with worms in him.
Yeah, and this
Eat.
is the night before whatever comes in the morning and whatever comes in the next night. So, if anybody wants to talk, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Not talking, but Grommen does want to reset the hagstone.
Mm.
So I will roll to see what it do.
I want to see.
Okay, what is that?
Who you gonna propose to this time?
Who am I gonna propose to?
Oh,
Well, that is okay. Oh, it's just me. I don't want to
Oh.
do that. Well, I just say I can roll a d20 or choose from the table, so I don't have to roll a d20.
you know what?
I
This
could
is a
pick
floor
sexy
shot.
one.
Let's go crazy. Go
Yeah.
crazy. Go crazy.
There's no,
You
there's
got
only
permission.
One
I
thing.
rolled on the table and it says I can kill God.
There's only one
The
thing that
hagstone
allows
turns into
not
a
me to do
gun?
something, so I'm gonna keep it as it is. There's only one thing that's gay, guys.
Ah.
And it is
Ah.
place it on the finger of another person with good intent to add 1 to recovery rolls with you and the wearer. So, I think Grommen will just. I think Grommen slipped it on
Stag.
Stag's little finger, right? Grommen will come, just put 2 fingers on the stone on the ring, and you feel like a breeze, just like some warmth to just recharge it for the next day.
Thank you.
There's a little hint of honeysuckle in the breeze.
Thank you.
We need everything we can get.
Everything we could get. Huh. And June thinks about her mother. For many years, she thought of what could or would drive someone to make a bargain. For what price they would pay. And I think for the first time in 20-some years, Stag understands. And Stag contemplates, hearing and remembering what Grommen just said of needing more magic. Don't worry about it.
And there's some truth to that.
Listen, you make a deal, and Grommen will punch you in the face.
I know.
Hey, Tree is still open for business, baby. There's still one more morning to sneak on over there.
Don't make me
Yeah.
consider it.
Won't you shake a poor sinner's
Sinner's
hand?
hand.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
So is that the only conversation that happens this night? If anybody else wants to do anything else, this is
Gay
only
or
a floor shot. Listen, straights are welcome. I'll say it. Okay. Just my arm. Because if that's true, then this session is closing out pretty soon.
Ugh.
Last call.
Do
You don't
it.
have to go home, but you can't stay here.
I think not necessarily a conversation, but in a similar vein to how June thinks her mom. Nellie thinks.
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit.
You're
I can't
cutting
hear
out
you.
a bit.
Hello, I'm speaking
Ah.
louder.
Hello.
In a similar way, Nellie thinks of her grandfather and thinks back towards how he was from the last time that she remembers him, and that darkness that she feels in percolating in the recesses of her mind, and the darkness that she sees within Mr. Sharp, and the darkness that she saw within her grandfather and on his face. And I think, not for the first time, wonders if the price that he paid for his bargain was worth it.
The thing to dwell on is the darkness that lingers outside your window, as it always has, and perhaps always will. But while the night is long and full of worms, the inside of your house is warm with the slow embering log in your fire, and your friends who have curled up on your long rug amongst quilts and pillows pulled down from your own bed, where you sleep on the floor or rest on the floor and wait for the morning. Chase the worms away. And with that, we'll be ending this session. Weathering the storm. Thank you so much for joining us. We're almost done. Next session is the last session. I'll finish this out. Bye, I'm Faye. She, they pronouns, Gothic Fairy or Gothic Fairy cosplay, anywhere, everywhere, I don't know. And I'll go in reverse order. So, Kit, tell us who you are.
Hey, I'm Kit. I use they, the pronoun. Chanel uses she, her. You can find me everywhere at Kit S. Wells or Kit No S. Wells. Just Kit Wells. It's super fun. You can try one or both of them. I'm usually there.
Go crazy. And Pooja.
Oh, I am Pooja. You can find me on the internet at Pooja or Pujabberwocky. And I have been Grumman tonight.
Wonderful. And Haley.
I'm Haley. I go by Haley Rosie on everything. I use they, she pronouns. I'm haunted. I'm haunted by our decisions and our lack thereof.
Rough. And Val.
Hi everyone, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use him, his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. Tonight, I had the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite butch lesbian hunter, Stag. Also
Lesbian hunter?
June.
Hunter?
Ah! Lesbian calmer hunter.
Okay. Something about the lesbians.
Stag, also known as June, who uses she, they pronouns. I'm going to pass it back to our guide. Guide, take us out.
Let's go. An additional final shout out, not final, but to round out the stream, shout out to Maddy for letting us use her channel and running tech and being the voice of God and having a beautiful old little dog for us to gaze upon. Thank you so much finally to everyone who joined us tonight. Have an excellent night, and remember that the night is long and full of worms. Have a good night.